Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm back again with my fourth video. So today's topic, I'm just going to be talking about the skirmish that's happening between India, that's happening at this moment, between India and China and India and Nepal now. So Nepal is joining in. There's hardly any coverage on this on Western media outlets. So I just thought it would be a good topic to talk about, and I'm going to be talking about why it's not really being shown on the Western media outlets. Before I get into the topic, I just want to say my new YouTube channel is up and running. So the name of the channel is Propaganda Uncovered. So I'm just going to be talking about not really conspiracy theories, but there's a lot of sorry, I had a notification. There's a lot of false news and propaganda that's pumped into our heads daily. So I'm just going to be going to be dissecting these fake news and propaganda, and also not just to do with politics but economics as well as false history, which is a topic I'm deeply interested in, which I'm currently delving as quite deep into at the moment. So these are the kind of videos I'm going to be posting. Uh, if you if you like my videos, if you find them helpful, uh, like, comment, share, subscribe, and inshallah I'll continue posting. Okay, so in regards to the topic, for the past month there's been a skirmish between India and China originally, and now Nepal is joining it. So originally, India started kicking off again in the region. India tried starting on China. So what China did a few weeks ago, they took a 60 square kilometers piece of land from IOC, Indian-Occupied Kashmir, and they're incorporating it within China's territory. So India originally wanted to organize talks, which China didn't bother with because, right, everyone in the region knows what India's like. So India's given such a nice reputation by within Britain and America, but India's actually the biggest troublemaker. Not Pakistan, believe it or not. Pakistan's improving, especially when it comes to its diplomacy. It's building strong diplomatic links, whereas India's basically destroying itself. Uh, so so uh, So yeah, China's plowing through Indian occupied Kashmir at the moment. Um, China, according to Indian media, uh, 50 Indian soldiers have been killed. But according to unofficial sources, so I speak to someone from Kashmir at the moment, Indian occupied Kashmir, and he stated that in actually 250 Indian soldiers have been killed by the Chinese, and he's actually praising China's work because for over a year, Indian occupied Kashmir has been in lockdown. So when India failed to attack Pakistan, they had two of their pilots shot out of the sky. S landed safely by Pakistan. So the planes got destroyed, but Pakistan managed to save their pilots and then sent them back to India safe and sound. Right. Since then, instead of attacking Pakistan again, uh, India tried luring Pakistan in by organizing a lockdown on Kashmir. So this is a full lockdown. Uh, Internet's banned, social media's banned. No one's allowed to leave or enter. There's been mm, there's been a large amount of rapes and murder by committed by Indian troops on on the Kashmiri populace. So So Indian occupied Kashmir wow are praising China's work within the region, and now Nepal's joined in. So Nepal, for as some of you may know, Nepal's the home of the Gurkhas, uh, who are who are tougher. Um, who, so they're a group, they're like a subgroup of the Nepalese, uh, very tough people, uh, very tough people. Suitable for basically, if it wasn't for Gurkhas, Britain wouldn't have won the war against Argentina. Basically, uh, Britain was getting the ass kicked, so they called their Nepalese regiment, their Gurkha regiment. Uh, they have a strong warrior culture, and they're attacking India as well, and they killed 50 Indian soldiers. So the reason Nepal attacked, Indian media is blaming it on Nepal, saying that Nepal caused it. That's not actually the truth. The truth is that last September, India they redrew the borders, which included part of Nepal. So they were going to take a certain portion of Nepal, which India claims as theirs, which they have no which they have no rights to at all. There's no reason why they would have rights to that region. So what Nepal did a few weeks ago, as China was attacking, Nepal redrew the borders, which included part of India. I think the region is called Himachal Pradesh. So Nepal's eyeing up that region. So as soon as they saw the opportunity, they attacked India, killed 50 of their soldiers, and now they're laying claim to Himachal Pradesh. And the last thing India wants is to attack Nepal, and then have the Nepalese call on the Chinese troops, uh, right, call the Chinese troops into that region, right? That's dangerous for them because now they have Chinese troops right at their border, right at their border. That's not something. That's not something they want. And now China's organizing a deal. They had their talk with India, and they said to India, sorry, that we'll give you this piece of Kashmir back if you end the lockdown. To which, as far as I know, India hasn't replied to. Uh, so uh, since this incident, South India wants their independence. East India, which borders Bangladesh, they want their independence. They want to move away from India. Maldives, they want to move away from India. I believe Sri Lanka wants to move away from India as well. Bhutan doesn't like India at all. It was only a few years ago when the Bhutanese they called China in to help them fight off the Indian troops. Now India they obviously blame China for that, but they say they were protecting their land from China, which is completely false, right? So the Hindutva regime, so India at the moment is ruled by Hindutvas who are an extreme Hindu group. So you have within Muslims you have the Taliban, you have Al Qaeda, you have ISIS. This is the Hindu version of that, where they want a Hindu state, which includes Bangladesh and Pakistan as well as all of Kashmir. Uh, and that within India itself, they're targeting religious minorities, not just Muslims, Christians and Sikhs as well. Everyone's getting targeted, right? And again, somehow they're blaming that on the Muslims. I have no idea how, but but yeah, that's what India's like at the moment, and no one from around India likes India. All the countries want to move away. Nepal's not just involved in the skirmish against India. They've also launched a trade war against India. So India's being attacked economically as well. The reason India's attacking in the first place, the reason India tried attacking Pakistan last year as well in I can't remember if it was January or February 2019. The whole reason is because India is a British and American and Israeli proxy within the region. They're propping India up. They're trying to get India to attack uh, Pakistan as well as China. Although at the moment it's a lot easier to attack Pakistan, right? In order to destroy these two countries or to weaken these two countries, because it's China obviously is rising up. China's a threat to Western hegemony or Western rulership. But also Pakistan. Pakistan at the moment has got a huge amount of potential to develop. Um, it's improving. It is improving quite fast. Diplomatically, it's improve is improving fast. Um, there's still strong forms of corruption from within the country. We do have Imran Khan as a president, but there is a lot of work for him to do. And I know a lot of people don't like Imran Khan. I will make a video about that. I will make a video about that later. Uh, ex- explaining why Imran Khan it's not really his fault. Like the media is just uh going into frenzy mode. The Pakistani media is going into frenzy mode against Imran Khan, but that's blaming him for this and that. But none of the things he's getting blamed for is his fault. I will get to that in a later video, but sorry, I keep digressing. I'll try and stay focused on the topic. So so Pakistan's got a huge chance to develop as well, and Pakistan's intention isn't just to develop Pakistan, is to develop the Muslim world, is to form relations with Iran and Turkey and the Arabian Peninsula. Um, so they can't afford Pakistan. They can't afford China's bad enough, but they also can't afford Pakistan to develop because strengthening. That's going to strengthen the Muslim world. Um, but yeah, that's what's going on in the region. That's why India's attacking, or tried to attack and failed miserably. Um, that's right. So the only reason, so the only reason right. So the only reason for this whole skirmish is just to put down or weaken these two countries. They don't even care if India gets destroyed in the process or breaks up in the process, as long as it weakens these two countries or destroys these two countries. Um, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Also, in also another thing with the whole India situation is I read an article where I think it was either 11,000 or 14,000 Sikh soldiers have resigned from the Indian army due to mistreatment. So India's actually known for mistreating its soldiers, and many of these Sikh soldiers that have resigned are now behind the referendum movement to create a separate homeland for the Sikhs. So India's doing a very bad job at keeping itself together. Um, None of this is mentioned in Western media because India is a is a Western proxy, and Israeli proxy is to fulfill Western and Israeli agenda. So they can so this is why you don't hear any negativity about India. All the negativity is to do with Pakistan. But Pakistan has actually been improving a lot within the past 4 or 5 years. So just in between 2014 and 16, I think at the start of 2014, Pakistan, Karachi, the financial capital of Pakistan, was the most violent city in the world outside South America. Uh, in between 2014 and 16, the army came in to clean up the entire country, right? From crime, corruption, terrorism, and by 2016, Karachi was relatively safe by global standards, and now Karachi, Lahore, and Islamabad, so the financial, the cultural, and the government capitals, are all now safer than London. So it's safe for investment, it's safe for tourism. Uh, the only part that's really dangerous is like the very north where it borders India. That's where there's a lot of clashes. Um, but yeah, there's right, but tourism is growing, investment is growing rapidly. In fact, the whole CPEC uh, the whole CPEC initiative between China and Pakistan, where China's investing, I think, 64 billion into the country, and they're building railways, they're building electricity grids, they're building motorways, they're investing in education and healthcare. And now not just China, but Russia's joining in now. Russia's launched a deal where they're investing at least 8 billion. Saudi Arabia, Turkey is joining in. A total of at least 40 countries have signed up to the project, and they're saying if and this is Western newspapers. They didn't make a big issue out of this because they don't want to give attention to the region. But yeah, they didn't mention a few Western media outlets, that if this project is successful, that can see the UN moving its headquarters from New York to Islamabad in Pakistan. Because not only is it a big investment, not only is it going to rapidly transform the country, but also it's a very strategically located country. It's a crossroads. Uh, it's right. It has a lot of resources and agriculture. Uh, Pakistani people are one of the smartest people in the world, according to polls. Um, right, it's very good with diplomacy. It's got very good links. Very good military. So got everything. It's got everything it needs there. Uh, the only issue is domestic corruption. So terrorism has calmed down. A lot of the crime has calmed down, but there's still forms of corruption within the government, which that needs to be tackled first. Um, Imran Khan, the prime minister of the country, he definitely has a he definitely has a clean heart. He right he's right he truly wants to better the country, and he's trying to do that. But there's 30 years of organized corruption that's been built up within the government of Pakistan. So for him to uh how people expect him to undo all this corruption within 1 or 2 years is just not possible. It's not realistic. So you have to give him time, but he is doing good works. The diplomatic relations with Russia, he reestablished diplomatic relations with Russia. For 30 years, Russia had a massive problem. This is going back to the Soviet days. He had one talk with Russia and organized that. He strengthened diplomatic ties with Japan, and many other countries. He's doing excellent. He's doing excellent work. But obviously, the media is giving him a hard time. Um, media. In a future video, I will be going more in depth into media corruption, government corruption, uh, corporate corruption. Literally, like, for example, you have a wheat mafia in Pakistan. So the wheat, so what's it? So the company or the corporations that are harvesting wheat, for example, that's a mafia. Like, that's how corrupt it is. Like, you have the wheat mafia, you have the cotton mafia. Like, every business you look at in Pakistan, is controlled by a mafia. So there is a lot of work he has to do. I will get into these in a future video, but yeah, what their plan is for Pakistan, they want to use India, right? They want to create a ring around Pakistan, using India, right, and through India using Afghanistan and Iran, because Afghanistan and Iran, they do not like America. They definitely don't like America, and they don't like UK either. But they're very close with India. So through India, they can form that ring around Pakistan, and they can destabilize Pakistan that way. So that's another issue that Pakistan has. It's the border issue between three countries. Uh, so it's a government corruption at the moment, as well as the border issue, especially with India. So yeah, that's all the happenings that are happening that's what the happenings uh in South Asia at the moment. India's India's getting its backside handed to them. I don't know why they're always trying to cause trouble. Um, so this is just 4 weeks into the issue. Uh, it's only been 4 weeks since I started seeing the news headlines on on the Pakistani channels. So we'll see how this whole situation pans out. All right, assalamu alaikum.